is Kevin Spooner. I'm an associate professor in North American Studies and History in the Faculty of Arts at Laurier. In North American Studies NO 105, the Introductory North American Studies course, that's the course that I have blended. Blended learning is truly blended in the sense that half the course is taught online and half the course is taught in class. So the key benefit for blended learning for students in particular, I think, is that we are able to reduce class sizes as a consequence of blending. So we only ever meet with half the students in the course at one time. That means that instead of a section of 80 students, we would have 40 students in the classroom. And that allows for me as an instructor to have much better engagement with the students. I get to know the students much better over the course of a semester. I get to know their challenges and what they're trying to learn. I also get to know their strengths that they're having in terms of what they're learning as well. So you get to know students much better with that smaller class size that comes from blended learning. As a professor, I think the big benefit for me is I just get to know my students that much better. So I find it's a more enjoyable teaching experience when I have better engagement with my students, when I understand, again, the sort of challenges and strengths that they're bringing to the learning experience. And I get to engage with the content in lots of different ways. So I'm not just lecturing all the time. The key motivation for me was this notion of being able to reduce class size. So in an environment where resources are constraining what we can do in the classroom, adopting a blended learning approach to still maintain smaller class size, to me, that was the key motivation for doing it. But I was also just interested in experimenting with different kinds of learning and teaching strategies. I think the key takeaway from my blended learning experience is that it takes a lot of time up front, particularly with the development of the online portion of the course. So in my case, I switched all of my lectures, which are the more sort of passive learning experiences, online, but that meant having to videotape them all, edit them all, write them all. It was also a brand new course that we were designing. So it was a pretty big investment up front in terms of my instructional design time. And I think anybody who's thinking about blended learning needs to think carefully about what's going to go online, what's going to be done in class, and that requires a fair bit of time and effort up front as you're developing the course. When we started with blended learning, we wondered how the students would respond to it because it's not the typical sort of learning experience that they've become accustomed to having at university. But we have found that the students responded really positively to it. So we've taught the Intro to North American Studies 6 times over 6 semesters, and we've surveyed students each of those 6 times. And consistently, semester after semester, the students tell us that if they had the choice to do the course over again, either as a blended course or a fully in-class course or an online course, the students consistently always say, by a huge majority, that they'd much prefer to keep with the blended learning approach. So I think that speaks to the value from the student's perspective of learning in a blended way.